Hello, everybody. How are you today? This is Kathy with Kincaid Special Creations coming to you with another live on Facebook. Today we are going to discuss things that's happened in my lifetime, changes that has been made in the last 66 years on the planet Earth. Well, actually in the United States, but it's all good. All right, let me get into where I need to be so I can see if we are actually doing it. My internet is being a little interesting today. Hey, Tim. How are you today? Hey, Melissa. How are you? I haven't seen you for a while. I'm glad you got to be with me when I'm doing my live. Uh-oh, got to turn the sound down on my TV set. All right. So there I am. No, that ain't me. I got on this shirt today. That one I brought up isn't this shirt. Hi, Scott. Hi, Stanley. Hi, Brian. Hi, Stevie. Glad to see all you all in. What I'm going to discuss today, like I said, is the changes from 1958 in increments of 10 years up until, of course, the last 6 years, from 2018 to 2024. The things are amazing. I did not realize. Ain't no wonder everybody. Hi, Jensu. Hi, Barb. Let me see if I can get me in here. There we are. There I am. All right, as you're going on today, make sure you hit that like button so I know that you're liking it. I went through and I picked up a few things of the different years. Starting with 1958, of course, Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. I don't remember anything about Dwight D. Eisenhower. First president I remember was President Kennedy. Really worried whenever they shot him. I was so scared and so upset about the Cuban thing and him being shot. I hid behind the couch in my living room for probably 2 days. I got out long enough to sleep, and that was it. And then I get right back behind the couch, peep out around the corner, and watch the TV set. I wasn't very old. I think he died in 63. So I wouldn't have been but 5. So I was just a youngin', but it scared me to death. I was like, oh my gosh, because they had been talking about the missile crisis and everything through the day. So, but in 1958, we had the most popular movies was The Big Country, Cattle on a Hot Tin Roof, A Night to Remember, Vertigo, which I haven't watched, and The Fly, which I haven't watched. But I've heard of those movies. Elvis Presley was inducted into the Army. That's crazy. Not only was he inducted into the Army, he served in the Army. He come back and became a wonderful singer and movie star, and now he's gone and been gone. He couldn't have been very old when he passed away. I'm going to go over the prices of things that's changed, but I'll do that at the end of this. So that you can know where I'm at. The famous people that was also born in 1958, besides me, of course, was Michael Jackson, Ellen DeGeneres, Madonna, Tim Burton, Kevin Bacon, Jamie Lee Curtis, Gary Oldman, Prince, Michelle Pfeiffer, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Sharon Stone. I know almost all those except for that Neil deGrasse Tyson. Anybody heard of him? Or what he played in or whatever? I don't have a clue. Then we're going to fast forward into 1968. Does anybody have any idea who was president in 1968? I'll give you a second before you do that. That was the year that they signed the Civil Rights Law into being. It was in 1968. Seems like that stuff has always been around. Hey, Hannah. Has always been around in thinking. But I was 10 years old when they signed that into law. And now I do remember in 1968, all of us kids were taken to my Aunt Frances and Uncle Clarence so that my mom and dad could go to Michigan and get my granddaddy, who was up there with, believe it or not, Timmy's family. It's a small world when you get to thinking about it. But the riots were horrible out there. I mean, horrible out there. So, that's things that we have not actually experienced. I mean, they were the summer of love, ha, ha, ha. But, I mean, they're not really fighting for a cause. They're just doing what they do for whatever reason they have in mind. So, does anybody know? Actually, Stephen, in 1968, it was Lyndon B. Johnson. Story about Johnson, I've told you all this before. Back in the day, when my grandma would clean, she would always clean her bed. She had a 3-room house. Not a 3-bedroom house, people. A 3-room house. She had one large living room. That she had 2 big beds and a sofa in. And a heater. I mean, she had all this stuff in that one room. She had a kitchen with a coal stove. And she had a small bedroom that she had 2 beds in. Now, she had a family of 6 kids and 2 adults that she raised in that house. So, when she would do her spring cleaning, and she always did, she always took all the mattresses off the bed and laid them out for the sun to air purify them and all that good stuff. So, when she would do that, she would clean that closet. She had 2 beds, that's all she had, was 2 beds in that bedroom that I can remember, and 1 closet, and a door. Well, 2 doors, but 1 door went outside and 1 door went into the living room. Well, she was cleaning that closet out one day when I was down there, and she just kept pulling stuff out and pulling stuff out and pulling stuff out and going through it. Evidently, all of our clothes, all Francis' kids' clothes, everybody's clothes that you could think of had ended up in that closet for whatever reason. And she pulled out, she said, if I keep a-looking, I'm going to find something that belongs to President Johnson. At the time, I thought that was the funniest thing in the world because I wasn't old enough to know that Lyndon Johnson was president. I thought she was being funny. Nope, she was actually talking about President Johnson. So I thought that was too cute because at the time, he was president. He was the actual president. So I thought, that's really an interesting thing that she said. Of course, Hubert Humphrey was the vice president. The hit songs were Hey Jude, Honey, Love is Blue. I can't really, People Got to Be Free, and several other ones that I don't remember any of those songs, except Hey Jude. That was done by the Beatles. Honey by Bobby Goldsboro. I should know, but I don't, because I like Bobby. 2001 Space Odyssey was one of the movies that was big. Funny Girl, The Love Bug, The Odd Couple, Romeo and Juliet, Rosemary's Baby was scared my britches off. I did watch that. Planet of the Apes I seen in the movie theater, I think. I don't remember where I was at in the movie theater, but that was a pretty good movie. I like Roddy McDowall. I liked him. And The Night of the Living Dead. That was when the crazy movies started coming in, and now they're just obscenely crazy. Will Smith was born in 1968. Cuba Gooding Jr. was born then. And a bunch of names I don't know. Hit shows was Gomer Pyle, USMC, Bonanza, Mayberry RFD, Family Affair, Gunsmoke, Julia, The Dean Martin Show, Here's Lucy, and the Beverly Hillbillies. Back when we could enjoy TV. We didn't have all the crazy drama that goes on today, and it gets addictive. when somebody's going through their drama, it's just like somebody that something's going on in the family and they had a party line back in the day. If somebody got a phone call, you hear a little click. They'd be listening on the other end just so that they could get gossip, so that they could hand it on to their friends. And that gossip would go on to somebody. Hey, Chris. Hey, Amanda. But it was hilarious how the different things that they could do. And it's no different now. If you're watching on, and I know the people that are obsessed with Facebook, or can't be too much different than what Kelly. Kelly would get on Facebook all the time. And she would call me and she'd say, Mom, did you see blah, blah, blah on Facebook? No, I didn't see it, because by the time she called me to tell me about it, and I got on Facebook, there's 20 more things down through there. And when I scroll down 5 or 6 things and it's all drama, 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 I'm done. I'm done. I love things that are on Facebook or YouTube that are informative or happy-go-lucky people having a good time. But when you're on there and you're showing cats that are messed up or dogs that are in trouble, or, yeah, I understand you want people to help the Humane Society. Why don't you just simply put an ad? Please help the Humane Society. Personal ad from the Fayette County Humane Society that says, hey, we have so many dogs and so many cats that needs a home. Do it personally inside your own neighborhood. That way, if somebody's looking for a dog or a cat, they would know that these are available. Or give the number for the Humane Society. But these people are just, they're clickbaiting. I've realized that over the last 2 weeks, more and more. These things that they're putting onto the thing to get you to stop and watch them are out of this world. They don't have anything to do with the content of their video. Nothing at all. They just they want to clickbait you into watching it. So, and people love drama. I don't have a problem with the people that love drama enjoying it. It's just not what everybody's into. So, that's why, personally, I get on YouTube, and right now I'm obsessed with savings challenges. And, of course, Donald Trump. But we won't discuss him. Okay, now we're going to fast forward into 1978. By this time, me and Tim have been married for 3 years, so you would think that I would know everything that's on this sheet of paper, right? I done had 2 kids, probably pregnant with, no, not pregnant with the third one, because I ain't pregnant with her until 1979. But I had the first 2 already. They were already born in 1978. We had already lost Danny. It was in a horrible car accident, and it was just like a whirlwind. So you would think that I would know. We lived in a little house right down from where we live now. We had built a little house. Everybody laughed at us, me and Tim, because we built it. Me and him, me pregnant with Kelly. We built this house, and because it leaned a little bit, everybody called it our lean-to. But we were proud of our lean-to. 2 young kids, I think he was maybe 18 and me 19. 2 young kids tore down a house that Grandma Hank or Grandma Johnson had on her property, took the lumber up this hill, put this house together, and built a house that we could live in. And we did live in. It had a big living room, a very small kitchen, and a bedroom. That's all it had. But we loved it. We had our 2 kids down there. We were happy. We'd built a little porch on it. But, you just do what you can and what you have to do in the situations that you're in. And we were lucky. My mother and father-in-law let us have that little piece of land down there to build that house on. And we didn't have inside water. We didn't have an inside toilet. So if things go absolutely crazy in his lifetime, and it could, me and Tim are good. We don't care to use an outside bathroom. In 1978, who was president then? Does anybody know? I didn't know this. I should have known this, but I didn't. It was Jimmy Carter. Evidently, he was elected in 1976 because in 1980, hi Julie, he lost the race to Ronald Reagan. We're going to get into the cost of stuff here in a little bit. Number one hits in 1978 was Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, You're the One I Want by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Gosh, that's so long ago. Three Times a Lady by the Commodores, You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone, and Miss You by the Rolling Stones. I don't remember that one. Stars that were born in 1978, Rachel McAdams, Justin Long, Catherine Hagee, Katie Holmes, Ashton Kutcher, and Malin Ackerman. The TV hit shows in 1978, Laverne and Shirley, funniest show ever. Those two girls worked so good together. Happy Days, Fonzie. Mork and Mindy, Three's Company, and Angie. Still in 1978, we're still on TV with the comedy shows. There must have been a ton of people watching those shows every single time they come on because they thought they were funny. Now we're going to jump to 1988. I've done had all of my kids. Chrissy was born in 1987. All four of my kids are here. Again, I don't remember that much about 1988. I was busy raising kids. I was busy doing the things that needed to be done in order to make our family work as smooth as it could. But in 1988, Ronald Reagan's still president. So that's pretty cool. In 1988, the first major computer virus infects computers connected to the internet. I don't remember that either. I don't think I had the internet then. I think I didn't get the internet. Chrissy can tell you because she was, she was in high school, I think. Maybe the end of middle school. But we had just got the internet on. And she was talking to her friends on it. And I had went in there and I told her, I said, okay, sis, by 11 o'clock, I want the computer off and I want you in bed. Well, I went back a little later and she still was on. I said, if I come back in here the third time, you're going to get grounded because I told you to turn that computer off. Well, it was about 12:30 and I went back in there and guess who got grounded from the computer for 2 weeks? But she'll tell you that she told her friends that I did the right thing because she had already told me twice not to do it. And if you don't follow through with whatever it is that you are going to discipline your children with, then they're just going to keep doing more and more and more and stronger things. Samuel! Anyway, but she didn't. She was never on the computer late at night after, not that I caught her. Now, she could tell you more about whether she was or whether she got off at a reasonable time, but she had to get up early and go to school. I couldn't let her be up on that computer. But always remember, if you discipline your children, I don't say punish them, as I don't believe in full-out punishment. But if you discipline your children with whatever, if it's grounding, if it's taking away their phone, whatever it is, if you do the disciplinary action that a parent needs to do for their child, remember, you are equally as in that disciplinary area as they are. If you take the TV away from them, then you're not going to be able to watch TV when they're in the room. Because you can't have the TV on and let your kids sit in the same room with you and watch TV. What use did it do to take the TV away from them? So you can't be on the computer playing a game and letting them sit there watching you play the computer, playing a game, or getting in the middle of playing a game. That's not being disciplined. Now, you as a parent needs to be as disciplined as you expect your children to be. Now, whether that ever comes to fruition in this day and age, I don't know. Because a lot of people will quote unquote punish their children, but they forget that they're getting punished as well. You know, you can't say you can't go anywhere for 2 weeks and then get in the car and go to the store and take them with you. That's not disciplining them all the way through. If they can't go to the store for 2 weeks or go somewhere for 2 weeks, that pretty much means you're not going to, as long as they're in the house, if they go to school, you can do what you want to do. But if they're in the house, you can't, and they're young, you can't just walk away and leave them in the house by themselves. And if you take them, the discipline doesn't work. It's just off the chains. That's just my opinion, guys. Y'all feel free to do what you want to in your lifetime, but that's what I have learned over mine is just be careful how you're disciplined. Make sure that the discipline fits the crime, fits the incident, not the crime, but the incident that is being done, because you don't want to over-discipline them, but you also don't want to under-discipline them. All right, we're going to jump forward into 1998. That's when Ebony was born. Holy moly. That was when I became a grandmother. When I fell through the back porch and messed up my foot for 6 weeks. So look, when you get into the year, memories keep flooding back. Jenny come up from Florida. Timmy's Uncle Clarence died. He went to Florida to go to the funeral. So it was just... But I still, even though I'm sitting on a recliner with my foot propped up in the air because I'm not allowed to walk on it in any fashion. They did not put a boot on it. They didn't put a cast on it. I was totally to keep that foot up in the air as much as possible. I still got to hold my my granddaughter. They still brought me Ebony and let me hold her and let me feed her and let me play with her because it was my foot that was messed up, not the rest of me. Hey, Lisa, how are you? We're talking about 1998 at the moment. Was the movies at that time was Armageddon, Godzilla, Saving Private Ryan. I've never watched that movie. Has anybody watched that movie and is it good? I got to stop a second, guys, and read some of these. They're getting to be pretty long. Okay, let's see. Oh, Timmy got rained out today. I'll be right back with you. Yeah, well, the inside was just a bit in that lean-to that we was talking about. When you walked in, you had a little living room area. That's where 1978. Kelly was little. I was walking down over the hill. Timmy's mom and dad lived on top of the hill. We lived down over the hill at the lean-to, and I was down, and I fell carrying her down that hill. Broke her little leg. Oh, it was pitiful. I had to call my mom the next day to come get me, to take me to the hospital. They said her little leg, she had a little cast on. Oh, it was so pitiful. It really was. She's I had her laying on the floor in a blanket because it was probably September. And she was laying on a blanket on the floor while I was in doing dishes. And she was in there. She was just giggling, crazy giggling. So I go in there to see what in the world she's giggling at. And she has in her little hands, she wasn't 6 months old, baby. In her little hand, she had a mouse squeezed so tight that she killed it. But I had to pry her little hand off that mouse and get rid of it. It was crazy. It was crazy. Scared me to death. I didn't put her on the floor no more. But I mean, that was a crazy, crazy time. Me and Timmy has been through it, guys. We really have. I should write a book. Yeah, it probably was dial-up, Hawk's Nest, that HawksNet internet service. You don't want to get in trouble for not getting off on time? Hey, it worked. It was a house we lived in, Tim. I was tickled with it. I think it is. I think it's the year she got married the first time, too, if I'm not mistaken. You've watched Private Ryan, Christy? All that little mouse, I mean, he didn't stand a chance. He was just a little old tiny thing, but she had her fist squeezed so tight, I had to pry her little hands open to get that, and he was already dead. She'd already killed him. But she had rolled over, because I didn't think she could roll over where she had that cast on her leg. So I had her laying down there playing with her little toys and stuff. I didn't think she could roll over, but she sure had, cast and all. And she rolled over to the side where she had to lift the cast up and roll over. And she had that poor mouse. The only time I've ever said that about a mouse, because any mouse, as long as it's not around me, it's like a spider. You don't let me see you. But mice are really sneaky because they leave you evidence they were there. So I really don't want any. Hey, JD. Hey, Tina. I don't really want anything to do with mice. No, because they're just nasty creatures. But I don't know a good solution. I have 2 cats. Now, one of my cats, Christy, the other day went out and got a baby rabbit and brought it in. Now, if he goes out and gets something, I guess he's showing off because he always brings it back in the house. 2 times this year we brought in a snake. One time he brought in a lizard and I got it away from him. Hi, Greg. And I thought that was the most hilarious thing in the world. I was going to pick it up by the tail. Don't ever do that. Because I picked him up by the tail to take him out so I could get him off the edge of the porch so he could live. So that, the cat wouldn't eat him up. He turned around and bit me and was hanging off my finger by his teeth. I didn't know lizards could bite. Found out real quick. They can. They have teeth. So don't pick them up. Scoot them up on a dustpan or whatever and throw them away. Or put you on a pair of heavy, thick gloves. But don't ever pick them up. I thought I was safe picking him up by his tail. I thought he might knock the tail off like they do sometimes. No, he swung around just like a snake would and bit me on the finger and was hanging there. I had to sling him off over there. I said, well, you know what? If you don't survive when you hit the ground down there, that's your own fault. Yeah, I have interesting life, guys. People think I just don't do anything except YouTube, but you know what? I do a lot of things. On TV, there was Seinfeld, Friends, which was Mandy's favorite of all times, ER, 60 Minutes. This 24-hour news cycle that you got on TV now was a detriment to the United States of America. They should go back to where they only have the news available on a breaking news story or at 7 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock in the evening. All this constant stuff that they have on TV, that's not good for America's brain power. But I watch it as long as they put it on. Let's see. They had the rollerblades and what was in style was plaid flannel shirts, ripped jeans, denim overalls, Timberland boots, rollerblades, and the Rachel haircut. What is a Rachel haircut? I really did not pay attention to stuff as I was growing up. Stars that were born in 1998 was Shawn Mendes, Ariel Winter, Rachel Covey, Corbin Besson, Paris Jackson, Jaden Smith, that's Will Smith's kid, Ellie Farron, Maya Hawke, and Mulatto. Microsoft becomes the biggest company in the world, valued at $261 billion on the New York Stock Exchange. The search engine Google is founded in gosh, what have they done to us in, what has it been, 10, 16 years? What did we do before Google? How did we find our information? How did they research anything? Good old-fashioned way. They look for the facts. Now anybody and everybody can put something up, and as long as you have their little thing in the Google engines, you can find it. Is it true? Who knows? It's your opinion, and it should be labeled an opinion piece. And people should always look to see if it is an opinion piece, because if it's somebody's opinion, you can take it with a grain of salt. You can agree with it or disagree with it. It doesn't matter. It's only if they can support it with facts. Facts that you need to worry about anything, because there's way too many opinionated people. I'm one of them. I know what I'm saying. So there's way too many opinionated people out there that can sway you in their nice, sweet talk. That would never be me, because I can't do nice and sweet. Can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. But there are people out there that can smooth talk you into doing anything and everything. And they will be smooth talking you well enough to get away with it, and you will not. You'll be in trouble. So don't do it. 2008, the thing I got on it is from a different universe, but the movies was Kung Fu Panda, WALL-E. I did watch that. That was a cute little movie. I really enjoyed that. Iron Man, I think I've watched that. The Dark Knight, I've watched. I think Dark Knight was Batman. I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Benjamin Button, The Hurt Locker. I've not watched that one either. American Idol come on the scene. Which, served to entertain a lot of people. The radio, the music was Low, Reading Love, No One, Lollipop, Apologize, and Nowhere. And I don't know any of those. None of them. That might have been where he was from, in Australia. Alright, so we're going to go on to what I did, because they didn't have any of these on 2018 or 2024. So I made my own version. So in 2018, we had Donald Trump as president. We had the movies, The Incredibles 2. The song was God's Plan by Drake, and Rockstar by Post Malone. Then we're going to get into the statistics here in just a second. We're going to jump forward to today, and right now it's nothing but Trump. Either you hate him or you love him. There is no middle ground. I try to stay on the middle ground. I don't like the other side policies, but I don't hate any of them. But I do think highly of Donald Trump. Of course, we have Joe Biden as president, and he's the one I feel the sorriest for. I didn't like him, but the way they did him was wrong. There is nobody on the planet that can say that wasn't wrong. They could have done it more diplomatically, or at least planned for it earlier and got it done. But I digress. One of the movies is Nowhere Special. I haven't even heard of that. And the song is Euphoria. I haven't heard of that either. All right, so now we're going to go into, I've spent my time, but I'm going to run over these facts real quick, and then I'll let you go. In the year, first we're going to talk about gas, because that's the primary thing that just about everybody that's watching me right now has to buy at some point in time in their lifetime. They have to get gas. The price in 1958 per gallon, 25 cents. When Timmy first started working up at the Mobil station in town, I think it was like 30 cents a gallon. And that was after we were married. In 1968, it was 34 cents a gallon. Don't we long for those days? Oh, we'd stay on the road. There's too many people on the road now. If we had gas that cheap, there'd be way too many people. I remember when, I think it was Jimmy Carter was president. We had the countrywide was a 55 speed limit because they was trying to conserve gas. I didn't think that was a problem. But people that like to go faster than that or like to get there quicker wouldn't like that idea. 1978, we jumped up to 63 cents a gallon. At that time, we probably thought that was bad. We probably thought it was increasing too heavy. 1988 jumps up to 90 cents a gallon. That's still, this is the median price for the country. 1998, it's up to $1.06. It's only increased in 10 years, 16 cents. 2008, it's 167. Now it's jumped up a little higher. 2018, it's $2.72 a gallon. Today, median price across the country is $3.62 a gallon. That don't mean that's what you're going to pay at the gas pump. You might pay $6 if you're out in California. I don't know. But the median price for the country. Okay, a new home price. Anybody in the market for a new home? Pop back to the 1958. You could get one for $12,750. That, at that point, was 36% of the income that a person made if they paid it off in 1 year. Of course, nobody did. I cannot wrap my mind around it. I'd have to find somebody that's in numbers to tell me why you can get we got a $40,000 mobile home 20 years ago. They put it on a 30-year lease at $400 and some a month. Timmy can go and get a vehicle that is $40,000, and he pays about $600 a month for 7 years. Now, you tell me the difference between a car and a home, and why. I mean, you don't have to put it on 30 years. I didn't know that when we got the house. We could have put it on 15 years, because when we refinanced it, we did. But the first 15 years that we paid on it, when we bought it, the whole property, when we bought it, we paid as much for the whole property as what we did for the house. I was like, what? That's crazy. But it is the way the banks run. Somebody that does number crunching would have to explain that to me. I cannot figure it out, but if we could get a handle on the housing market and the gas situation, the getting of the gas and all that other stuff, I think we could come to the other side of this country pretty good. In 1968, it went up to $14,950. So in 10 years, it only raised up $2,000. By the time 1978 came along, it had jumped from $14,000 to $54,000. 1988, $110,000. 1998, $152,000. 2008, $219,000. 2018, $302,000. And in 2024 right now, the median price for $511,000. That's crazy. Bread in 1958 was 19 cents a loaf. I'm just going to skip from there to now, so we don't have to have here forever. But bread in 1958 was 19 cents a loaf. Today, it's a low-end price, $1.43. And you can't find a decent loaf of bread for $1.43. You might find a loaf of bread. Bacon was 79 cents a pound. That's a pound, not the 12-ounce packages that they give us today. But a pound. Now it's $5.52. Steak was $1.04 a pound. Now, in 1958, that was high. Just like the $6.58 is to us now. But it's still, that's crazy. I'm going to get to something you're going to find amazing here in a minute. Potatoes were 63 cents a package. Then it went up to 26 cents a pound in 1988. They from selling the package to selling it by the pound. And now it is 83 cents a pound. Milk went from $1.02 a gallon back in 1958 to $3.28 a gallon now. And eggs from 60 cents a dozen all the way up to $3.99 a dozen. And that's a low-end price in some places, because some places pay a whole lot more. Wages in 1958 yearly, now this is yearly, guys, $4,600. And in 1967 was $7,850. 1978, $17,000. 1988, $27,000. 1998, $39,000. And 2008, $52,000. 2018, $63,000. And now they say the median income is $106,000. I'd like to know who makes all that money. And the minimum wage, when they started out in 1958, I think Mom started working for a little over $1, maybe $1.63 an hour when she became a nurse. But in 1958, the minimum wage was $1. 1967, because I couldn't find 68, 1967, it was $1.60. 1978, it was $2.65. 1988, it was $3.35. 1998, it was $5.15. And when I started work, that's what the minimum wage was $5.15. Now, because I worked the front desk and had to work midnights, they started me out at $5.40. But that's still, I think the first year I worked, the first full year I worked, I think I made, I want to say $6,000 for the whole year. For the whole year, guys. And we had all 4 kids at that time. 2008 it was $6.55 an hour. And for the last, in 2018, it was $7.25 an hour. And a lot of states still in this day, 2024, it's still $7.25 an hour. Now, you can say what you want to, but somebody that's working for $7.25 an hour in this day and time with the rents up to a bare minimum in West Virginia, $960 a month, they can't afford that. Because at $7.25, that's like McDonald's and all that. Well, in West Virginia, we pay $8.25. We raised ours to $8.25. That's still not good. So they have to have 2 and 3 jobs just to be able to pay their rent. Now, they may get assistance from the DHHR to get their groceries and all that other stuff. But in order to have a life, they have to work multiple jobs. Now, here's where I'm going to get on the soapbox just a minute. Everybody knows that there is a gazillion amount of immigrants coming across, and I'm hyperbole, but a lot of immigrants coming across because they'll work, because they're workers. No, I don't have any problem with it. But when you're here in the United States of America and you're working for $7.25, and you got people that will come in and work and think $7.25 is the best thing in the whole world that they're getting, and they take up all the jobs, and you have to maintain 3 jobs to be able to pay your rent, that's hard on you. Then where do you go? You have to go back into the system. So the government is now paying for the immigrants to be here and the poor American citizens that can't get enough jobs because they do want to work. They do want to be self-sufficient. But they can't because there's just too many people flooding the work market and will either work under the table or they'll work for a little bit of money and they'll get added stuff from the government. So I don't know what was going to come out on the other end of this, but I just think that's crazy. For the people that make the $106,000 a year, good. Please do something with it. Please get involved with paying off your debt. Pay it down as low as you can get. Don't let those crazy interests, those companies that charge such much interest, take your hard-earned money. You don't work for whatever you work for an hour to keep giving it to somebody that's charging you 20, 23, 25% interest. Stick it in their pocket and go on about their business. Pay that debt down. And I'll end it with this. If anybody needs information on how to do a savings challenge, just check me out on YouTube. because I have that all the time. And it does work. It really does work. I did not start that till April. My sisters was always really super good at saving money. My daughter's good at saving money. You know, that is, but I never was. We lived from minute to minute. We was always taking care of our family, our kids, always doing this, that, the other. But when I started saving money in April, it was unbelievable how much freedom that I have. So we're going to start paying off all of our bills, and hopefully the world don't go crazy in November. But you all have a wonderful day, and we will see you next Wednesday with grapes. We'll be doing grape crafts. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.